Hey, my narcissistic abuse family. Thank you for sticking it out with me through my last video. As you can see, there's still chaos going on in my house. My husband's ripping apart our dining room, and I promise I'm not even going to touch my hair this video. Well, maybe I'll show you some. So that's what my husband did to me. God bless him. He's like making my dreams a reality by highlighting my hair. I've always wanted to do it myself, but I'm disabled, so. And you know what I realized? Because I was freaking looking at myself so much, and I was looking at my hair in the last video. I know it was distracting. I apologize. But I don't ever look at myself in the mirror. Disabled person problems. You don't realize. Like, I do it in the morning when I'm putting my face cream stuff on. I don't always wear makeup. And I do it at night when I'm like putting face stuff on again to go to bed. But I don't ever look at myself in the mirror, so I was like checking out my hair. Anyway, I'm sorry, I apologize. But here we go. Today's video, this upsets me on such a profound level. And if you have a narcissistic mother and your daughter, this is for you. I'm going to give you like some brief tidbits about sons as well. So if you want to hang out, listen to what I have to share today, that would be awesome. All right, so if you have a narcissistic mother and you're a daughter, you have been so screwed up by this woman. I'm convinced that they are like monsters on earth in maternal clothing, like trying to pass themselves off as mothers. They are so evil, and the deep-seated damage that they do to us is catastrophic, and no one acknowledges it or knows about it that has not experienced this. So you have my heart. I'm so sorry. It's like the more I learn about this, you have to learn about it in order to identify it and overcome it. But oh my gosh, it makes me so angry. So it's like shit that you knew your whole life, but like actually like hearing about it and getting the like verification that this was in fact what was going on, it's maddening. It's so screwed up. These women are they're such pieces of crap. So anyway, here's what I'm talking about today. If you are a daughter of a narcissistic mother, you have no doubt bore the brunt of all of her anger, resentment, wrath, self-hatred, all of it. She projects it onto us worse than anyone else. It's disgusting. So children, early childhood development is the most crucial, critical point in our lives. It's where we develop our, healthy ways to interact with ourselves as well as other people. And our parents, our mothers, are supposed to give us the just basic need. They're supposed to fulfill our basic needs of security, of being nurtured, being loved. I mean, that's all kids need, ultimately. And narcissistic mothers, they can't do that. They are entirely inept. They can barely even like get by for themselves. They're so scrappy, and they're always trying to screw everyone else over around them. Can you imagine that these people are responsible for children? Wonder why we're so screwed up. I know I am so messed up. I'm trying so hard to identify and work through these issues. I'm in this wheelchair, and I know in my heart that I have such an unhealthy, screwed up processing system thanks to my narc mother that I internalize everything. Like, I don't have a healthy way to cope with emotions and to process things, so I just take things on physically. It's such a toxic manifestation of this dysfunctional upbringing. I'm going to get into, so being a narcissist severely compromises a person's ability to be a parent. It's like a child having a child. You know, narcissistic personality disorders are so immature, they absolutely digress to school-aged tactics. Like kids in elementary school would do these things. But this is a grown-ass adult responsible for children, and they're doing this to their own children as well as everyone around them. So narcissistic mothers entirely lack empathy, which is ironic because I do believe that most of us are empaths, which kind of goes along with my theory that we strive to be the polar opposite of these people, which is that's the only thing they gave us, is a great example of everything we do not want to be. Is we want to be the opposite end of the spectrum of these wicked, malicious, vindictive people. So we're empaths, but they screwed us up so badly that we're vulnerable, we're susceptible, we don't have healthy boundaries, we don't have healthy self-esteem, we don't have, we don't see the need to protect ourselves or draw boundaries when needed. So much. All right, so when children have loving, nurturing mothers, their mother reflects back to them that their feelings, their needs, their wants are valid, that they are of worth. And when you have a narcissistic mother, she's not doing that. All she cares about is herself. So right off the bat, they steal that from us, which rocks the foundation of our growth and development. They set the precedent for us to repeat this toxic dynamic in adult relationships, which I absolutely did. You gravitate to other narcissists because that's what you are used to. I guess that's what we equate love to, whatever. Like someone treating you crappy and dominating you, and you gravitate to it because that's what you know. So they set the precedent for us to be in abusive, harmful relationships as adults. Awesome. Narc moms, the gifts that keep on giving. So they, like narcissists, like in the Greek mythology, sees themselves in the mirror. They have no differentiation between themselves and their daughters. So it's kind of a catch-22 because they see their daughters as an extension of themselves, and they want you to be the best at this, the best at that, yada yada, whatever they cherry pick to be their accomplishments, whatever. But they also hate themselves. So they hate you inevitably. So they treat you like crap and abuse you. And that is because they have no boundaries between themselves and you. They just see a continuum. They also see their daughters as threats to their own egos, because we're competition, because that's what narcissistic women do. They compete their entire lives. They never feel worthy or of value themselves, so they're always looking at everyone around them. What's everybody else doing? I have to be as good as them, or I have to do what they did. And so now we, by default, become their competition. They feel very threatened by us. It also said they might, I had a brother, has been triangulated out of my life, as with my father and the whole dysfunctional unit. Anyway, but it said, it's annoying me. I'm sorry I touched my hair. So it says that narcissistic women, mothers, they prefer their sons because it's so annoying, but they can harm their sons by emotional incest, which is like next level horrible, but they screw everyone up. So rest assured, no one is safe. They prefer their sons, like no doubt my narc mom did, the golden boy. You know, he's so great. And how about he's screwed up as she is? Like, he's a narc as well now. Anyway, so the way that and narcissists thrive on control. Because think about it, all of the unknown elements around them are potential threats. So the more they control, the more they are able to construct this facade that they live for. The only thing that protects them is their fake reputation or whatever they're trying to put together. So they try to control us all the time through shame all the time. We are just cloaked in shame. Everything we do is shameful. Everything we like or want is wrong. So I'm almost 40 years old and I'm trying to get rid of this, man. It's like deeply ingrained in us because, like I said, the formative years are so critical. We take that with us for the rest of our lives. So these monster women had access to us at that time. So they were the ones sitting behind the controls, putting in the toxic programs. So we carry that with us throughout life and we need to undo it. So they use shame all the time. It undermines the developing identity of a young girl and they create insecurity. Just like they have. They're so insecure, they're so feeble, and they have no self-esteem. So they do that to us because that's all they know. So misery loves company and they don't want us to feel good about ourselves. So they shame us all the time. They do a mother's love is something that reaffirms your worth, your confidence, and we don't have that. That's like a huge missing element. So they instead implement a pattern of self-denial where we're always self-denying and accommodating them. So that's what they basically teach us to do, is to push all of our needs, our whatever we want, whatever we like. It's stupid and they shame us for it. So we develop this pattern of denying ourselves and accommodating them because everything revolves around this parent. Narcissists are myopic, where the whole world revolves around them and nothing else matters. So naturally, they program their children to live in this delusional, fictitious world. So they set the precedent for us to be in codependent relationships as adults. And that means that we alter our moods, our actions, our behaviors based on the other person. That's what codependency ultimately means. So the consequence of growing up in this environment is that we internalize shame, the shame-based belief, and we also grow to believe that we are unlovable. I will never forget and it disgusts me, but at my wedding, I gave like this speech to my parents for how great they were for paying for everything and all. Even though they didn't pay for everything, but whatever, details. So I gave this speech and I said, I know that I'm unlovable at times. That infuriates me. Now that like I actually said it in public in front of like friends and family because that's what I was made to believe, that I am unlovable. So no doubt you were programmed with that erroneous belief as well, that you think you're unlovable. The narc always believes that their life is, they're constantly struggling, they're always striving for fulfillment, and love must be earned. They teach us that. They teach us that love must be earned, and this will set us up for a cycle of abandonment. We hook up with creeps that treat us poorly, and we're abandoned. And it's a repetitive feeling. Like, again, I'm sorry I'm adding this, but I am married to my soulmate husband, love of my life, the best guy ever, and he even highlights my hair, for goodness sake. So anyway, my husband is so wonderful and loving and unconditional. He's just the best. And I still struggle with like mistrust and catastrophizing, like if we get in a disagreement or something. There are so many issues that are ingrained in me, even though I'm in a beautiful, wonderful, healthy relationship with a wonderful man that loves me unconditionally. We have children that we love unconditionally. The damage done by narc mothers is just profound. So, sorry, I got off track. So, narc mothers teach their daughters that she's not able to identify and value her emotional needs, nor does she know how to meet them, because her narc mom certainly did not. She retains a sense that something is missing and an inability to nurture and comfort herself. Blows my mind. This one pisses me off like beyond expression right now. But like a lot of the recovery tactics in overcoming narcissistic abuse is like to self-care, self-nurture, self-love. A lot of the exercises involve like, identifying your inner child and stuff like that. I'm like so removed and dissociated from this stuff because I grew up in an environment where this woman was just angry, resentful. I've spoken about this before, but the external locus of control. She really, in her effed up mind, believes that the whole world has wronged her. And so everyone owes her something. So I was instilled with these feelings of anger and resentment. That's all she taught me, man. Like, I don't have healthy coping mechanisms for processing emotions, nurturing, all that stuff. So, narcissistic mothers, they focus on themselves, or, sometimes they include their sons because they're screwed up. And I think they do this to justify, like, I'm a good mom. And they neglect their daughters. Their daughters just get the crap end of everything. And the other thing, which is so messed up, is the narc mother wants to believe in her screwed up facade that she's the fairest of them all. So she will, she's threatened by her daughter. So she will triangulate her husband and her son, everyone that she can, against the daughter to diffuse the threat. So she doesn't want the daughter to be close to her dad. She doesn't want the daughter to be close to the son. They may restrict or disparage boyfriends or undermine other relationships because no one is as important or fabulous as the narc mom. The repercussions of this type of toxic childhood are so far-reaching. She will undermine all of your relationships with your friends, with your boyfriends. She'll try to get involved with your husband. So recovery from this kind of trauma is like, we grew up with feelings of rejection and shame. So it's going to take a while, which sucks. I mean, I'm super impatient. Maybe you are too. But it takes a while just to work through all this crap that these women embedded in us. We have to recover from codependency. We have to identify, this is a big one, I feel like. We have to identify and understand that the shaming messages and beliefs that were transmitted to us from these monsters, it's not true. It's not true. We're not bad. We're not unlovable. We shouldn't be embarrassed or humiliated. Like, every chance they got, they would do that. So we have to deprogram our subconscious minds from believing that we are toxic, from all of the shame and all of the toxic messages, essentially. Shaming messages and beliefs that were ingrained in us. We really have to identify these and dismantle them. That's a huge part to, like, we can self-care all the day long, but until we get rid of the underlying toxicity, this bed of sabotage, it's not going to make a difference. The inner critic is the worst. That is loud and clear from a narc mom. She's always back there telling you what a piece of crap you are, no matter how good you do, no matter what good of a person you are. I remember this will be my last example, but I remember one time I was talking to the narc mother before I knew she was a narc and what was going on. And I was telling her, like, I'm always striving to be a better person. I'm always trying to better myself and be respectful of other people. And she just looked at me and I was like, jump in any time here. Like, she will never say anything like that because all she cares about is herself. That's how screwed up these people are. So, all right, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say today about narcissistic mothers. I should probably make more videos about this topic because clearly it is a trigger for me. So if you had a narcissistic mother, I'm so sorry. You have my heart. It is such a daunting task to overcome this crap. But we'll do it. We'll live our best lives. That's the best revenge. We're bumped and we're bruised, but more than anything, we are blessed because we're coming out of this fog, this toxic treatment, and we love and appreciate more than we would have otherwise. There's hope for us. All right, you guys, I'll see you soon.